Jesus' death, resurrection, and ascension. Matthew 26:36 through 28:20 and Acts 1:9 through 11. "Are you still sleeping and resting?" Jesus asked his disciples. Jesus had spent part of the night praying to God while his disciples slept. "Get up and get going," Jesus told them. "My betrayer is at hand." Just then Judas, one of Jesus' disciples, came with a large crowd carrying swords and clubs. Judas walked up to Jesus and gave him a kiss. "Friend, why have you come?" Jesus asked Judas, knowing that Judas was betraying him. But Judas didn't answer. The soldiers grabbed Jesus as Peter swung a sword at the crowd and cut off a servant's ear. Jesus healed the servant and did not resist the soldiers. He knew his arrest was part of God's plan. The disciples ran away in fear, but Peter followed Jesus from a distance. Later, Peter denied Jesus 3 times. The soldiers took Jesus to Caiaphas, the high priest. After several people accused Jesus of wrongdoing, Caiaphas asked, "Tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." "It is as you said," Jesus responded. Caiaphas tore his clothes and accused Jesus of disrespecting God. He believed Jesus was just a man claiming to be God's son. According to Jewish law, those who disrespected God were to be killed. The Jews did not have the authority to kill Jesus. Only Pilate, the Roman governor, could sentence Jesus to death. But that didn't stop the Jews from abusing Jesus. They blindfolded Jesus, beat him, and spit on him. But Jesus said nothing. In the morning, the Jews bound Jesus and took him to Pilate. "Are you the king of the Jews?" asked Pilate. "It is as you say," answered Jesus. "These Jews are accusing you," said Pilate. But Jesus did not respond as Pilate wondered why. Since it was Passover, Pilate knew he had to release a prisoner to the Jews. He brought out Barabbas, a murderer. "Should I release Barabbas or Jesus?" Pilate asked the Jews. "Barabbas, Barabbas," the crowd shouted. "What should I do with Jesus?" asked Pilate. "Let him be crucified," they shouted. "Why? What has he done?" asked Pilate. The crowd shouted louder, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him." Pilate gave in to the crowd and released Barabbas. Pilate had Jesus whipped before giving him to the soldiers for crucifixion. The soldiers dressed Jesus in a scarlet robe and pushed a crown of thorns on his head. They mocked Jesus, spit on him, and beat his head. They then nailed him to a cross and set him up between 2 thieves on a hill called Calvary. That evening, Joseph of Arimathea got permission from Pilate to take Jesus off the cross. Joseph buried Jesus in a tomb and rolled a great stone in front of the opening. The Jewish leaders remembered that Jesus said he would rise from the dead in 3 days. They were afraid Jesus' disciples would steal the body and say he had risen. So Pilate appointed guards to watch the tomb. On the morning of the 3rd day, there was a great earthquake. The soldiers fell down as if they were dead when they saw an angel roll away the stone. Mary Magdalene and another Mary came to the tomb and saw the angel sitting on the stone. "Don't be afraid. I know you are looking for Jesus," said the angel. "He is not here, for he is risen. Tell his disciples that he is in Galilee. They will find him there." As the women left, Jesus suddenly appeared. The women fell and worshipped him. "Don't be afraid," Jesus said. "Go tell the disciples that they will see me in Galilee." The women found the disciples and gave them the exciting news. They left for Galilee, found Jesus, and worshipped him. After 40 days, Jesus was ready to go back to heaven. He gave his disciples a mission to complete while he was gone. "Go and make disciples of all nations, baptize them, and teach them everything I have taught you, and I will always be with you." As Jesus returned to heaven in the clouds, his disciples gazed into the sky. 2 angels stood by and promised that one day Jesus would return. Jesus died for your sins on the cross and rose again victorious over death. If you trust in him and accept his payment for your sins, you will be with Jesus forever when he returns.